When you hear the words managing director, what does that mean for you? Nishita, Bhavna, and I have a conversation, and we figured out that these words mean completely different things to the three of us. So, before you listen to this video, think about what managing director means to you. If you enjoy this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell button so that you get notified every time we upload a video.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure. And just at the outset to say that since the last time you all saw Bhavna, she has morphed from being on multiple boards to continuing to being on multiple boards, but also becoming managing director of a company. And this really got me thinking. And I have been wondering ever since why MDs are called MDs. So if you dissect managing and director, and the dictionary meaning of managing is literally this: Catherine managed on 5 hours of sleep. Catherine coped. Catherine tried. So Bhavna, is that what it feels like? Does becoming an MD imply that you're coping, trying?
Yes, I would partly agree and partly I'm actually amused by that meaning of the word managing. Uh, yes, when you get into the role of being a managing director, and I think it means different in different organizations, and even within an organization, I've seen it, morph over a period of time. So for me, there are organizations where, as a managing director, you're really hands-on. You need to make things happen. You're literally hand-holding stuff to make it happen. And that's obviously based on the evolution of the organization or the kind of challenges that may be being faced or the objectives that they're trying to achieve. But then
So
there are,
do you feel that you're managing? And I mean, do you feel that you're trying or coping?
well, to me, every time you put in an effort to do something, you're in a way trying to make it happen, right? It's not like you're in la la land and you just kind of go floating around in life. But yeah, I'm actually surprised by the meaning of the word that you used on coping.
No, I have one little thing to talk about the word manager. And while you were talking about it, I suddenly thought, if you actually break up the word man age, mean aged man means a person with experience. So a manager is a person with a lot of experience, a person who is aged, a person who has the wisdom of the years and experience that they have been working in a particular way. So that is my take on the word manager.
That's quite interesting. And, maybe before we hit director, the other aspect, there is this middle management itself. I mean, does that sound like an appealing name to you? Middle management is, on the one hand, holding the business together. That is actually where the rubber is hitting the road. And it's also one of the toughest jobs. And look at what they're called.
Yes, middle management sounds like the great Indian middle class, which is making the whole country happen and yet seems to be sandwiched.
They are, on the one hand, the only people who are managing upward and managing downward. And that's really the hardest job. So we say it's lonely being at the top, but look at the middle managers. I mean, they're managing both ways and sideways, and they're the ones who are actually doing all the work and holding it together, as you said.
Yeah, middle managers in the fitness industry would make a lot of money, because everybody wants to manage their middle, don't they? but when it comes to a corporate scenario, I think the word leader would be more appropriate because you rightly said they connect upwards and downwards, and it I'm sure it must be a very very difficult tightrope to walk on.
So let's move to the second part, which is, director. If we look at managing director, what does director mean to you?
Someone who
Either
tells people what to do. in the movie industry, a director is the guy who has the big vision for what the movie is going to be like.
Right.
And therefore, he directs people into doing whatever they are supposed to be doing so that the grand vision can be accomplished.
Yes. So to me too, one way of looking at it is setting the direction. So the first time, for instance, I made the managing director in my previous organization, that was about a business that was being set up. So it was about setting the direction. And that's where I was the managing director. In my current role, it is about setting the direction and making it happen. So to me, making happen is also the way I'd look at a director. But yes, setting the direction is also a big one on that.
Direction, yes. And if you were to ask me the same question, I come from the Hay McClelland Heritage, Harvard, and direct brings to mind directive, which is the whole barking orders, do as I say, do it now, leadership style. What kind of an impact do you think that would have on people?
Well, in the short term, it would get things done, but in the long term, I think it would backfire dramatically.
I've tried it with my daughter, and I've tried telling her, go and set the table now. And I've tried telling her, let's make a fancy restaurant. What would you like to call it? And no prizes for guessing when she does it and when she doesn't. And certainly when she does it happily and when she does it grudgingly. So should we still be calling it director?
I've actually played all the roles on a single day also. Sometimes, well, I don't bark orders, but yes, sometimes people need to be told what needs to be done. So simple example, there's been a fraud uncovered in the organization. You can't be setting directions or inspiring people at that time. You need to first set things right, get the house cleaned, and then of course you can go back on track in terms of setting the direction. So to me, it's always a combination, and I agree, Baba. It's gainful in the short term. You can keep continuing with it. In fact, I'm actually thinking about an individual who keeps doing it in the long term, and I'm thinking how much energy that takes, because you're pretty much telling everybody what they need to do, and someday I wish they can do it on their own. I don't need to keep telling because I have enough to do on my own. So yeah, it can be very exhausting also. So most people wouldn't sustain it. Of course, for those who still make it happen, God save them.
But it's interesting how the three of us had such different interpretations to the simple word managing director. I mean, if you say, I'm a managing director, kind of people assume, yeah, that's what you do, something. People have an idea of what you would be doing. But when you go to the etymology of the words themselves, like Nishita puts it, managing means scoping. And I think of it as experience, an aged man, a person with experience, a person who knows through experience and through his intelligence and wisdom what needs to be done. And same way with director, where I think of a director, the first thing that comes to my head somehow is movies, because movies have directors. And the director, I know from having been involved in a few short film projects, that the director is the person who has the entire thing in their head, and then they run the various departments of the film to make it come together. And from Nishita's point of view, director is like someone telling you something. A very, in quotes, directive leadership style would be where you are being constantly told, do this, do this, do this. And then Bhavna thinks of it in such a beautiful, different way that if you are continuously telling people what to do, you are going to be exhausted at the end of the day. Yet, there are times when telling people what to do is required. And I guess that's where that manager part comes in, where the aged man, the experience tells you when you need to be directing and telling people what to do, and when you need to be directing and knowing the grand vision and allowing people to evolve and fit into it and create something amazing as a team. So
setting the direction and making it happen, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Fascinating. So think about it differently at different times, and your behavior changes.
Think of the caste system of Hinduism. If you look at the Brahmins are the ones who are the knowledgeable ones, right? They are the people who know stuff. And then you have the Vaishyas. The Vaishyas are the ones who are the business guys. They do business. They bring commerce into it. And then you have Kshatriyas, the guys who protect, the guys who fight. And then, of course, Shudras, who do the menial work. And I like to think of this really as an all-in-one thing that all of us do. So when I'm cooking food in the kitchen, I am a Shudra. But yet when I'm talking knowledge over here, I become a Brahmin. Isn't it? And when we do any sort of business, any sort of commerce, then we become Vaishya. Right? And when we fight for our rights, when we say, no, this is wrong, this is not all right, this will not work, then we become Kshatriya. And so I don't think there were 4 different classes. There were just 4 different roles that we would play throughout the day. And same way, I guess, with the managing director role, where you play so many different roles to ensure that your ultimate goal is fulfilled. And I think that's the beauty of language, no? It allows you to interpret in the way is best for you. And it could be embarrassing on one side. What are you managing and who are you directing? 2, it could be a really fantastic vision that I am an experienced person who has a grand vision to allow the team to do their best to create this vision together.